everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Uma Musume, one of the questions I've had in prior videos when I kind of showcased my building of aces for Libra Cup was actually showing them in action and how they can win within room matches. And so that's what we're going to do today. I have a couple that I have saved off that we're going to kind of take a look at. I know the main one people want to see is actually how a pace chaser can win, especially with my Major McQueen, as my current ace McQueen does not have no stopping me or nimble navigator on her. And so I do have one video where I do showcase a pace chaser that has nimble navigator, and I'll kind of explain why I chose not to build it on my current one. And before we get into the videos though, I thought I'd kind of showcase the aces you're going to see here. Now there's going to be two different Major McQueens in these videos, and it's going to be the same Narita Taishin and Gold Ship throughout them. So first we'll take a look at the Major McQueen. So we have my current ace, the one that I will be taking into Libra Cup here. Now, this is the one where I've had the questions on why do I not have Nimble Navigator and no stopping me. And it's quite simply, I did not have really the skill points, especially with the direction I was really building this Major McQueen for. She is built to be a lucky pace and be as strong as possible in that, versus trying to make her well-rounded and good as a lucky pace and a pace chaser that can launch. Because if I would have taken No Stopping Me or even Nimble Navigator, it was going to eat into my mid-game significantly, and it's just going to weaken her overall. Now, I would have loved to be able to take more skills, but on this run, I just never had any real good opportunities to do extra races. As you can see here, I only did the minimum races on her. They just barely popped off, and I kept getting like good actual hits. As you can see here, the stats are fairly good on here to actually get her to a very high power, almost max speed. I mean, it's good enough, and enough stamina to survive. So taking the 2 stamina skills, which was pretty much mandatory for her, just really ate into it. And so I could not afford it here. Now, I would have loved to have it. And I do have a McQueen, the first one I had built, which is, I believe, down here, that you're going to see in another race. Yeah, this one. Funny enough, this one was the first one I had that was going to originally be my ace, but then I really wanted to get angling and scheming because I built this one without a Sayun Sky parent to get angling and scheming on her. Came out really good, has Nimble Navigator, had right-handed firm conditions, actual max speed, and a little bit more stamina, but I was finding just swinging Maestro by itself was not enough, and she didn't perform as well. And you're also going to kind of see why I feel like Nimble Navigator was not as necessary on her as well in the race that I should kind of showcase her. And then when it comes to my other aces, we have my Narita Taishin, which is probably my strongest ace. I think wins the most times for me currently. Surprisingly, it's not my Gold Ship that wins the most. Now, she came out pretty crazy. She is one that I ended up getting a fast learner on. I got plenty enough stamina where I can get away with on her only swinging Maestro, and then I kind of top her up a little bit with Stamina Eater, which basically acts like a white heal. And then I have Tail Held High plus Encloser straightaways. Insider Scoop is so good. A lot of people are not realizing how good this is. It's a skill that gives a speed boost that lasts a really long time, and the gold version of it is on the Gold Ship card, which is what I've used on my other Umas, because I've seen a lot of people ask me the question of why I'm using the Gold Ship card, which I used on this McQueen as well. And this one I don't even have Inside Scoop. Couldn't afford it. I mean, literally, that was pretty much the main reason, is I couldn't afford it. Any kind of movement around here, I was always off by like 1 skill point or not. But on the Narita Taishin, I was able to pull it off really good. Got her Encroaching Shadow, Professor of Curvature, and Straightaway Adept. Both good skills because they can activate twice. And so you're going to see her in the videos here, and then also my Gold Ship ace. And so she's also pretty strong as well, but she did not get as high on the stamina side, which is why she's doubling up the heals. But she was one that I actually was able to get a few extra races in on, which helped me buy some more skills while still maintaining a decent stat line. Did not max speed on her either, funny enough. But it's at least basically there. And so you'll be seeing her as well. I think most people already kind of know how end closers win. They just basically push up as far to the front that they can get. If they get lucky, they get No Stopping Me, but Straightaway Spurt can do the job as long as they're far enough forward and nobody else pops off No Stopping Me alongside it. And so with that, let's just go ahead and get into a race and kind of showcase some examples here. The first one I wanted to show here is going to actually be how a pace chaser, how my pace chaser wins. And I will say she wins about 30% of the time when she gets lucky pace, which if there's no front runners, I feel like she gets lucky pace like 70% of the time. And man, it's taking a little bit of time here to load. But she gets lucky pace about 70% of the time because of how high her power is, as well as Umastan, which you're going to see in this example, how good Umastan can be in making sure that you get lucky pace. That or groundwork. Groundwork kind of does the same thing. And it looks like it may have froze here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut and fix this here. All right, I don't know what happened there, but I have it fixed now, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the races. And so the first one's going to be kind of showcasing the lucky pace situation and how pace chasers can win in the situation I'm trying to pull off. The second one we're going to take a look at is a pace chaser using the launching technique to a certain extent. And kind of see, and I can kind of explain why I feel like going with the lucky pace route is the better way to go. And so on this one, now you know my Umas, I've already showcased, they're very, very strong, but I'm also going up against fairly good ones. This person, N, joins a lot of my rematches, and it seems like we trade wins back and forth. I mean, we have very similar Umas. As you can see, very high stats. While they don't have Turf S, they have over 100 more power than my gold chip, which basically makes them equal in terms of that. Similar stats, or similar skills. They have Umastan. I mean, everybody has Umastan on their gold chip. Have a similar strong Narita Taishin here. A little bit lower power, but other than that, fairly similar. Now this one has 2 pace chasers in it as well, and so this is one we trade back and forth lucky pace on this. They kind of have the other strategy. I only have Umastan on my McQueen. They have Umastan and Highlander. Most of the time when I go up against their McQueen, if they pop Highlander, they take lucky pace over me. If not, it seems like it's a fight between the two. I seem to win it more times than not between our 2 McQueens just because of the power difference, but it's not like significantly different. So the only thing is you really just want to have like that above 900 power, and you should be able to win it a good chunk of the time, especially when we get into the true actual Libra Cup, where you're not going to verse a bunch of other whales. Like these are people that are already building really strong Umas. I do not expect to have as strong Umas in the actual champions meetings, even potentially in the finals. So let's just go ahead and get in this race. One thing you want to pay into, particular attention to is the McQueen and the Narita Taishin here. This one, McQueen is going to win this one, but Narita Taishin is going to show why, how she can still be very, very strong, even though she doesn't have the mid-race skill like Gold Ship to move herself up, and she's actually going to be in the back of the race as we get into the late race, and still push herself all the way to second place. Alright, so right off the bat, you're going to see them launch. Now, our McQueens are even together here. Pretty even. And then mine's going to pop that Umastan and take it. I don't think they got Umastan off. And so that is literally what won me lucky pace. Now, you can kind of see, I know Victoria Frontier talked about it. They got lucky, but Gold Ship does like to jump in front of the pace chasers and pull them back. Sometimes. That Gold Ship almost did it to that McQueen, but they got around her. So if you don't get the lucky pace, that can happen. Gold Ship backed up, and so there's not much that happens here. They're just popping their skills. And so basically, having that stronger mid leg, my McQueen can pop off a couple more skills to help maintain a little bit of distance from them. The end closers are always going to start closing here. As you can see, my Narita Taishin is all the way in the back at 9th place here, middle of the race. Now here we're getting all our heals off. Professor of Curvature, kind of negative to have Professor of Curvature activate here. If it activates on that first corner, it can activate again on the last one. But still good, nice distance here. My Gold Ship is moving up, nice in front. Narita Taishin way in the back here, as you can see. But she is in still really good shape to be able to push up, even being in the back of the group of all the Gold Ships. And so you have McQueen going over. Encroaching Shadow off Narita Taishin. We have straightaway spurt on Gold Ship. Angling. Angling's always late, so McQueen gets angling off. As you can see, she's holding fine. They're catching. But then, as they're catching here, she pops her ult, and the ult is like key. That's really why I really like McQueen. Her ult basically gives her a ton of extra speed, and now they're no longer catching, but they are going to swing very wide. Just like we saw in Virgo Cup, they love to swing wide when they're trying to pass, so that swinging wide literally killed all their speed, and McQueen easily wins this one. Remember that Narita Taishin that was all the way in the back here? That encroaching shadow is still pretty massive, especially if nobody else is getting no stopping me off. And she is still able to get all the way up and get second place, even though she is in ninth. But this is an example of how pace chasers do it. They just get into the front, hold the front, have hopefully as strong as middle lane skills as you can get. And then as soon as they get over the line, hopefully none of the end closers are too far forward. Now, there are cases where the end closers are going to be too far forward and they're just going to blow by her, which we'll kind of show here in another one. But first, we're going to show the other side of things, where if you have Nimble Navigator / No Stopping Me on your Pace Chaser. All right, so for that one, we're going to take a look at this one. This is with my old McQueen. And so this one does not actually have Angling and Scheming. It has Nimble Navigator, which in this case was actually good for it because we're actually going to get to see her launch off. Now, my McQueen did not win this one. It's going to be kind of an example why I'm not too worried about the fact that my McQueen does not have Nimble Navigator, No Stopping Me. And this one has the same Narita Taishin and Gold Ship. I don't think my competition is as strong here. I think this was kind of a random room. But they're not like terrible. They're still pretty good. This one's a little lower on stamina, so this one's probably going to die there. But this one has front runners as well. And so the whole idea is if they have front runners or a lucky pace that you can launch off them if you're able to catch up to them. You can see this is my other McQueen. Long S, pretty high power, stamina's good, speed's good, only swinging Maestro, but in this case, she is able to survive with just that. Pretty strong on the mid-leg skills, so let's just go ahead and see how this one works out. And so this one, my Narita Taishin is going to take the win, but McQueen is going to, I believe, almost win. But it kind of shows why I'm not too worried about not having Nimble Navigator. So everything's going to kind of start off the same, except the front runners are going to take the front. My McQueen's going to take the front of the Pace Chaser pack, I believe here. Or maybe it's Tokai Teo, I can't even remember. This one's not as strong as my other McQueen. Doesn't have Uma stand. So we have the Tokai Teo pace, McQueen pace, we have your two front runners. And it's just going to play out like it normally does here. They're going to kind of do front runner things, which you want two front runners if you're going to do front runners so they can push themselves forward like they are. If you only have one front runner, my McQueen actually can catch and pass them and still get angling off many times. And so we have the gold chips moving up here. McQueen is still pretty far back from the front runners. But so the end closers are back here. We have a gold chip way up front catching. I don't know where my Narita Taishin's all the way in the back again. Narita Taishin is all the way in the 9th place again. She gets her encroaching shadow off. The other one does as well. Straightaway spurt. McQueen's still holding 3rd. Now, McQueen's going to get a little bit late on that Nimble Navigator here. If she was a little bit closer, she would have been able to pop that a little early, which would have been a lot better. But then Narita Taishin comes up. She's popping off like crazy. She's in 6th place currently. But she is just launching. And this is why I am not too worried. If my McQueen is getting off No Stopping Me or Nimble Navigator, what I have found in test races, this isn't the only one that I've seen it. If she's that far back to get No Stopping Me or Nimble Navigator off, one of my end closers usually is the passing her. And so the extra skill points was much better. And I think McQueen actually died there from stamina at the very, very end. But it was, and that, my Narita Taishin was way back here. She was all the way in 9th, popped off her skill, and then pushed all the way up to the front. And so, while I would love to have it, I just didn't think it was worth it. Now, if you have the skill points to make it work, it is definitely very, very strong. As you can see, she still got 2nd place. So if my Narita Taishin failed her wit check, or my Narita Taishin and Gold Ship both failed wit checks, well, McQueen would have saved the day by having Nimble Navigator. Now, and it was pretty close. I think, yeah, Tokai Teo was just behind my gold chip, which was 3 lengths behind. But, so having both, I think, works. But in my situation, it's not really necessary. I'm relying quite heavily on very strong Narita Taishin and Gold Chipper. Probably will win, I'd say 70% of my wins, with McQueen maybe taking the other 30 to 15. I don't know. We'll have to kind of see when the champions meeting comes up, because there'll be weaker Umas there overall. I think I'm going to get a fairly high win rate on this one, much like Gemini Cup was. But that's just a couple of examples of pace chasers. Now, when it comes to the end closers, I mean, we can show like your ultimately what you want to happen with your end closers here on this one. So I believe this is another one where like a best case scenario happens for your end closer, and what's basically going to wrap it up for you, even if you have a weaker Uma. Mine are really strong, but even a weaker one can pull this off. And that is with strong mid-leg skills. So this one I have a McQueen in the front as well. Now this is a case where I don't have angling, I believe, on her as well. I think this is my old one that does not have angling. But as you can see, my Narita Taishin's all the way in second and third. This is where you want to see your end closer as far forward as possible. Even if its gold chip is this far forward, who cares if she can't get her ult off? If she's in second place, you don't need anchors away. And so end closers, get them as far forward as possible. This is why gold chip's so strong, because her ult basically does that for her. Her ult pushes her forward. And so we get Narita Taishin pops Encroaching Shadow. Gold chip gets No Stopping Me and Straightaway Spurt. And then Narita Taishin also gets No Stopping Me here, launching off my McQueen, which then my McQueen got Nimble Navigator. And then they all just pop off and they're just gone. As you can see there, guess who's the two in the front? Even though my gold chip got both No Stopping Me and got Straightaway Spurt off, it was still both the Narita Taishins in the front. I feel like people are underselling how strong that Narita Taishin is if she is built pretty strong. Her extra speed she gets with her ult now helps elevate her forward once she's already basically got to max acceleration, especially if she can get both No Stopping Me and Encroaching Shadow off at the same time. And so that's a Narita Taishin win. You just want to get as far forward as you can, and that basically ensures your victory with an end closer if they push very far forward. And that's why having a lot of mid-race skills can be very, very strong. And as you can see, this is kind of the same thing with this person's Narita Taishin here. They were in second place, and it's not even built that strong. If you just get the good excels off and they're in good positioning, they can do well. No long S, no turf S. Has, I mean, yeah, decent power. Definitely not enough. I don't even know if Unruffled got off on this one, because that one's not a very strong recovery. Still got second. And I mean, they lost to my Narita Taishin, which is super, super strong. You shouldn't see this many types of Umas in the real champions meetings. I'm not expecting anything close to what I'm seeing in the practice rooms on stream. Kind of just taking Gemini Cup as an example for that. So, and the other gold chip coming in second. So I thought I'd just kind of showcase some runs so you can kind of see how the races can kind of go. Pace chasers are very, very strong. There is that RNG, of course, in it. But like I said earlier, my McQueen, when she gets lucky pace, I'd say if she gets angling off, she wins about 30% of the time. And you might think that's a low win rate. It is if you're only investing in your pace chaser. But though that 30%, some of those times, my end closers are not the one in second place. It'll be another gold chip or Narita Taishin. McQueen wins out because the other one swung wide, and then she takes the win. Or she's just far enough ahead and takes the win. But that's just some example races. If you want to see more of them, I do pretty much stream every day, and we do practice races on both Libra and now some Scorpio practice races for people that are that far ahead. So you can always bring them and test them out and see how well they do against some really strong ones, because a lot of my viewers have very strong Umas, some even stronger than mine. And you can see, I've had free-to-plays win against me. They have max speed, but then they only have like 700 power on their gold chip or Narita Taishin, and they can still win. And they win decent amount enough time that they can feel confident going into the champions meetings to make it to the finals and have a chance to ultimately win. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I thought I'd just showcase a couple of races for those who wanted to see them. If you have any questions on it, or if there's anything else you would like to see in future videos, just let me know. But if you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.